Good morning and welcome to Unfiltered Vision News. And good morning and welcome to Unfiltered Vision News, bringing you the news unfiltered Monday through Friday. Thank you guys so much for joining me here this morning for our Tell It All Tuesday. And with that, let's start out with our trending topics on X. And so we've got three here, and one was actually kind of left over from yesterday, and one we're going to get into. And that was Jillian Michaels. She calls out Obama on Democratic race choices. I think that was the choices that he made in Virginia. But then a father enters a women's restroom with daughters, and it sparks clash at the Quick Trip. And I can kind of understand if you're like a single dad or whatever, you don't want to take your daughters in the men's bathroom, obviously. At that point, you know, I think he should have maybe called in, one of the individuals at Quick Trip because they're so helpful. Quick Trip is really awesome. If you don't have one in your region, so sorry, but they are really amazing. And he could have probably asked somebody like, "Hey, can you hold the door and stand here while I tend to my daughters in here because I don't want to take them into the men's bathroom." But if he just kind of took them on himself and just went in there, yeah, I could understand how that made some people upset. But you got to remember, parents don't want to just send their kids into the bathroom, especially if they're, maybe under the age of 10 or 12 or, maybe even 15. They just don't, they want to make sure that they are caring for their children. So I do really appreciate a lot of the places that I go, they have family restrooms, right? Where a whole family can kind of go in the bathroom and not have to worry about invading anybody else's space or, making anybody else uncomfortable. So shout out to dad for being protective, but sorry for the people at Quick Trip at the same time. Now, a little bit more serious. This one was interesting. So, as an Indiana mom was killed shielding her son from a robber at a home sale. So, this was one of those Facebook marketplace situations that went bad. And this is why they recommend that you don't actually invite somebody to your house unless maybe it's a large item. I know I've personally sold large items on Facebook Marketplace, but I definitely try to vet who I'm sending my address to if I've got to have somebody come over to pick up a large item, if it's something where I can't meet someone in a neutral location. But if it's neutral locations, like we're meeting at the grocery store, somewhere where there's a lot of other people around. So if something goes sideways, there's some sort of protection. But I wanted to share this with you guys and get into it because it's very interesting. The coverage, number one, and just how some individuals, their reactions to what happened. So it says breaking black savage murders innocent white mother in cold blood. Now, just to start out, yes, he did murder this woman. I'm not saying he didn't, but why are we mentioning a race? Because when we do that, we elevate and we escalate this whole issue that we have right now, which is a problem in this country. We do have a problem with race, especially when it comes to black and white, because you can say any other race with white or black and nobody cares. But if it's black and white, it is supercharged, it is off the charts, right? So a loving Indiana mom, Jean Gregg, 40, was shot in the head and killed by a black 18-year-old thug during a Facebook marketplace robbery. She stepped in to stop him from stealing a watch from her son. Now, it's the adjectives that are used. I'm not saying that this individual here wasn't in the wrong, but why does he have to be a savage and a thug? And the white mom is innocent. And she is innocent. I'm not saying that because obviously she was shot. She was just trying to protect her son. But it's the framing. The framing supercharges a lot of what we see here, as opposed to a young man killed a woman and it was wrong. And it was wrong on all levels. But we do not have to interject the race part. Because when we do that, we definitely classify people. People are already, look, fever pitch. Because when I get to the next article I'm going to share with you guys, you're going to be like, what? And why didn't we hear about this? Absolutely. Let's get into it.
I want to show you there, you see him facing 2 charges. Now we can say he's facing those charges. These are not preliminary. He was just charged minutes ago in a St. Joseph County courtroom. And this happened Wednesday night in the 2600 block of MacArthur Avenue. We took you there on scene. You see it here. According to police, video shows the teen shooting the woman, who is still in critical condition tonight. The disturbing report from this probable cause affidavit, it goes into detail here. Police say she was shot in the head, and this came after the victim's son was trying to sell a watch to the suspect.
The son told police Ford then brandished a gun, telling him he needed that watch, and tried snatching him. That's when the victim, the son's mother, got in between the two and shots were fired. Ford admitted to police he shot the gun twice and then ran away. Now, we are still reading through the paperwork, and we'll have the latest at WNDU.com.
Just horrible to hear that update, something we've been following. I want to show you there. You see.
So I am grateful that she's not passed away, thank God. But what he did, I'm like, what were you thinking? Really? I need this watch? So you're going to throw your whole life away for something that's going to rust and corrode? You're going to throw your entire life away? It's what? And see, I was born in South Bend, Indiana, and I've seen it get more violent over the years. My dad, he used to live in South Bend, and he now lives in a neighboring city called Granger, because he kind of saw things going down. It's like that city right there. And what some people don't realize is that's the home of Notre Dame right there. The city where the Redemption Party carries the majority, the city of Roseland, it sits right next door to South Bend, Indiana. And, I'm going to have to call the city and be like, is everybody okay? Because in incidents like this, sometimes one of the lead officers that I do know there, that might have been somebody he knew or a family member, because it is a very tight-knit community. I got to call my cousins and be like, hey, did you guys know her? Did you know her family? Did you know this young man, Harrison Ford? Did you know him? Who is he? Right? What's going on? And I'm not going to play this entire video, but I wanted to play part of it. And she says, another senseless case that isn't on mainstream media. Why? Right? Because the victim is white. That's why. Okay. I don't know if it's because the victim is white. You got to remember, some of these things, there's a lot of violence that happens in South Bend, Indiana. I'm just telling you now. And you guys don't hear about it. You don't hear about what's going on in Gary. You don't hear about what's going on in Hammond. There's a lot of stuff going on every single where, and you don't hear about it. So let's just make that clear, because the next article, like I said, I'm going to bring up, you haven't heard about this one either, because I didn't till yesterday.
I swear we live in a dystopian universe these days. I just came across a TikTok video to learn about this case in South Bend, Indiana, over a botched robbery over a watch that was being sold by a minor, a teenager, on Facebook Marketplace. It's not all over the mainstream media. Of course it's not. Now, this woman by the name of Jean, her son Mason, was selling some articles of clothing and a watch via Facebook Marketplace. Well, the suspect, the potential buyer, meets Jean and her son. I guess the son went out first. I don't know, like, specifics, but apparently the son had gone out first and the mother had gone out. I don't know what was going on that got mom's attention, but she goes out into the driveway and says something. I don't know what words. I don't care what words she said. That's the point, is moot in my humble opinion. And so the suspect, who I will pull up on the screen right now, John Harrison Ford, pulls out a weapon and takes it to her head, and he pulls the trigger. Sad.
Like I said, I don't know now, based on this information, if she has passed away or not, right? I know they started the GoFundMe, so maybe she unfortunately passed away. And these are things that shouldn't be happening right now. But that leads me to this next incident that I came across. So I'm going to show the video first, then I'm going to get into the article.
A Lee County family is speaking out, recalling the terrifying moments when they say a man armed with an AR-style rifle opened fire on their family reunion. And thank you for joining us at 5 o'clock. I'm Greg Lloyd.
And I'm Carla Heat Sands.
Now, that shooting happened Sunday evening on Autumn Leaf Drive in Leesburg. The Lee County Sheriff's Office says Jeffrey Tyler Kinsner shot at partygoers after a verbal altercation occurred. No one in the family was reportedly injured, and Kinsner was shot after a family member returned fire.
He was charged with aggravated assault. WAOB News 10's Mariah Norman sits down with a witness who says their family was racially targeted.
This family says they were celebrating a birthday and spending time together before a man they identify as a neighbor pulled up and opened fire with an AR-style rifle. Witnesses say the family was gathered outside for a reunion Sunday night when a car drove by. A white man, who witnesses say was Jeffrey Tyler Kinsner, was inside the car, yelling racial slurs at the group.
When he's talking junk and he started yelling the N-word, he kept going, so we let him go. And we were just discussing what just happened, why he tripping.
But Green says Kinsner came back, this time wearing armor and carrying a rifle. Oh my God!
And then that's when everybody started running. He got a gun. All the kids, they was making sure the kids get in the house. And people started taking positions because they seen he had a gun. And I was in the middle of the street. That's when he raised it and fired. Boom. And I grabbed my gun and started returning fire and moving with him.
Green says he's a Marine veteran. He says he was willing to defend his family, including children and older adults who were present.
It was so hurtful. I cried all night. I'm laying outside on the ground through a shootout under a car with my other auntie, my other sister, who is 77, and I'm 62.
The investigation is ongoing. Officials say more charges are expected to come. This family says they are just grateful to be alive. Reporting in Lee County, Mariah Norman, WALB, your hometown news source.
Okay. Now, let's go to the article on this. But actually, let me show you where Lee County is in Georgia. So it's Albany is south of there, but this is Lee County, right? It didn't give a specific city. It just said Leesburg, but I think this just specific county. So it's located in Georgia. Its population about 33,000. The county was established in 1825, and its county seat is Leesburg. Lee County is included in the Albany, Georgia metropolitan area. The only reason I point out Albany, Georgia is because that's where King Randall is, where he actually takes in youth to help them and teach them, how to be men, right? How to iron their clothes, wake up on time, and be good stewards and good citizens in their community, and even when they leave their community. So shout out to King Randall. But that happened in this area. The crazy part about it is, okay, yeah, he started fussing at them, and they were like, okay, well, let's let this guy go. We don't know what he's on. He went to his house and put on body armor and came back with a gun to spray people and kill them. This was not a robbery. This was not anything aggravated. And when you hear what happens next, you're going to be like, what? Yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so Lee County family says man armed with the AR-15 racially targeted their gathering. What else are you going to say? He's calling them the N-word, but we don't know if somebody said something to him. We don't know, but we're going to find out. But you come back with body armor. You walked back to their house. You didn't drive back to the house. You walked back because you're close enough to where they are living. And the reason why I'm so upset about this is because when you find out the next part, you're going to be like, what? So a Leesburg family recalled the moment a man gun with the AR-15 style rifle allegedly shot at their family gathering in Sunday. The reason why they have to put allegedly, especially as a news organization, is because it's under investigation, right? So we have witness testimony. So right now we're still at alleged. This happened on June 7th. So this was roughly about a week ago, right? A week from this past Sunday. And they said it was racially motivated. So according to the Lee County Sheriff's Office, deputies were called to the 100 and 200 blocks of Autumn Leaf Drive after receiving multiple reports of shooting in process. The Sheriff's Office said it was stemmed from a verbal altercation. Now, until anything it went down, was anybody a thug? Was anybody a supremacist? Was anybody innocent? See, when it was the Black family, it was presumed that something had to have happened to aggravate this man. He aggravated, he started it. They didn't. So they were innocent, and he is allegedly very guilty. But nobody framed him as a thug. No one framed him as a Nazi. No one framed him as a white supremacist. Because in this country, you're innocent until proven guilty, even if you have committed a crime. And that's the dichotomy that I wanted to show you guys until I get into more of this. It was around 9 p.m. that this happened. So, he's talking junk. He started yelling the N-word, this Mr. Green said, and he kept going, so we let him go. We just discussed what happened afterwards, like, what in the world? Because nobody's messing with you, right? So the person who lives at the home said she called the Lee County Sheriff's Office, but about 5 minutes later, Kinzer and the driver returned. So it was two people. It wasn't just him. This time, Kinzer was reportedly wearing body armor and carrying an AR-15. So at least the family had enough sense to call the sheriff and say, something's wrong. Something's going on here. We need you. And I'm grateful that they did, because hopefully they kind of caught what happened at this time. So those outside spotted the suspect with gun from a distance and began running, Green said. Then Kinzer opened fire, and Green said a bullet flew past him. So luckily they had a trained Marine. Luckily this family had a good guy with a gun. And luckily nobody was killed or injured. The only person that was taken down was Kinzer, because apparently this gentleman, who is a retired Marine, actually knows how to disarm and not center mass like most of our police officers are trained, right? He actually just injured this person so they would stop shooting. Like, what's going on? So people started taking positions because they saw he had a gun, and I was in the middle of the street, Green said, and I grabbed my gun and started returning fire and moving with him. So he wasn't afraid for his life. He was like, okay, you're not going to harm my family. So Green said he is a Marine veteran. He wanted to defend the roughly 20 children and older adults who witnesses and were at the home when the shooting occurred. He said it's so hurtful. I cried all night. That was Luciana Bassard. She was one of the witnesses, and you heard her on the video. I'm laying on the ground for a shootout. I'm under the car, and my sister was 77, and I'm 62. They're having a family reunion, and you're just coming and shooting them. Nobody took anything from you. Nobody did anything to you. Nothing happened. Some words were shouted back and forth. Okay, and you come back with body armor? That's intent. That was not in the heat of the moment. That is intentional. You intentionally went to your house, you put on body armor, and then you came back with a gun because you had the intent to kill somebody or unalive someone. Like, what is going on? So according to the Lee County Sheriff's, Kinzer was injured after being shot by a family member. The family said they were racially targeted, which they were, allegedly. We'll just put that out there. We were having a family gathering, and it was great family gathering. Green said it was peaceful. He came and caused that to happen, and he found out that he's not the only one that has training. What? It's just gross. So Kinzer was charged with aggravated assault. After being cleared at the hospital, he was transported to the Lee County Jail. The sheriff's office said Kinzer was released from jail on June 9th on a $5,000 bond. So he's outside, free. He's not in jail. He's on a bond. He's still up the street from this family. How comfortable would you feel? Somebody just shot at you for just being you, being outside, being with your family, and now that person is up the street. Yeah, the family demands more serious charges. The sheriff's office said additional charges are expected. But this man is right now, he is free. He is at home. Up the street from the family that he shot at. Wearing full body armor. And these are the things, because I'm sure you didn't hear about this one. Yeah, because shout out to the amazing Lucas, right? So I went through Grok because I wanted to do a little bit of extra investigating. And it gave me a little background. It gave, the encounter of Mr. Kinzer, right? Yelling racial slurs, and then the escalation. And then he came back wearing body armor on foot and an AR-15 style rifle. It's interesting because the article said that he came back with the driver. So I don't even know if he was even the driver, which is weird. So we don't know if it's one or two people. We have no idea, but we'll find out more as information comes out about this. So he was injured because the person that was the Marine was able to, take him out, not take him out kind of like that, but at least injure him enough that he stopped shooting at everybody. Thank goodness. Right. So he's been charged with aggravated assault. He's released on $5,000 bond. The investigation by the Lee County Sheriff's Office and GBI, which is Georgia Bureau of Investigations, is ongoing. Officials have indicated additional charges are expected and hate crime enhancements are under consideration based on the racial motivation, slurs, and circumstances. So no trial date or further updates appear in reports. The case remains active in the early stages. Now, I said, is there footage? And then I was able to find the footage because apparently, whatever footage the amazing Lucas had, he didn't have a lot of footage. So I was able to find what I showed you guys, just like in context, the report. Now, we don't have the other Ring cameras. They have the one across the street that was in black and white that was kind of grainy. They have that one, but we don't have any other Ring camera footage that actually captured the actual incident from another point of view outside of the video camera that somebody was holding while they were running into the house away from gunfire at their family gathering. It's crazy to me. So crazy. So segments from WALB, which is what we watched, and similar output, social media posts sharing the Ring footage of the slurs and the running scenes. And then the video that I linked was from the amazing Lucas. The Georgia Bureau of Investigations and Lee County Sheriff's Office have also publicly asked for any additional video from the area. The existing footage played a major role in quickly identifying and arresting Kinzer. So I would ask if anybody's in that area with any footage, please turn it in to the GBI so that they have more information going on. But this is crazy. This is really, really crazy when we're looking at both sides. And that's why I showed one compared to the other, because you shoot the first. And trust me, I am outraged because what is going on? Why are people doing things like this? And in the other situation, they weren't even doing anything. In both cases, nobody was doing anything. They were just being innocent people. And they're getting shot at. That's where we're at. We're not going to argue. We're not going to fuss. We're not going to do fisticuff. We're just going to shoot. We're just bringing a gun to every situation. And it's not the guns, it's the people. How did they get it? How did this young man in the situation in South Bend attain a gun? And why is this man, what, you have body armor? And you're walking back to somebody's house to do bodily harm. And you're released on bond for aggravated assault? No, he should be in somebody's jail right now. He should not be out. Is there a restraining order to protect this family? Does he have to stay so many yards away? Like, how does he get inside and out of his neighborhood? He's got to drive past their house to get what? None of this is right. Something's wrong. Because in the first instance, absolutely that young man should be in jail. Absolutely. Awaiting trial. This person, just because he didn't injure anybody, is on $5,000 bond, walking free. But yet you had the intent to do bodily harm because you had on body armor. So you were expecting return fire. You weren't expecting to just walk up in there and just, do whatever you wanted to do. How did it escalate to that point? That's what I'm trying to figure out. These people are sitting around literally having a cookout in the front yard, and you come back with body armor and an AR-15. That is intent. And people wonder why Black Americans, I'm not talking about you other melanated people, I'm talking about Black Americans, are just kind of like, is it open season? Like, when did this happen and why? And we really need to get back to the why. Because I know a lot of people are going to be like, we need more gun laws. No, we don't need more gun laws. We need to find out why the lowest common denominator is, I'm going to shoot you. And a lot of it comes from being desensitized by our media, by our movies, the constant barrage of violence everywhere. Some that's accepted, some that's not. The constant framing and strawmanning of people. They didn't strawman the Caucasian man, he wasn't a thug. He wasn't a supremacist. He wasn't a Nazi. He was just a Caucasian man that decided to put on body armor and return with an AR-15 to spray bullets at an innocent family. Is he a thug? Yeah, those are the questions we got to ask. But that would do it for our broadcast for today. So we will be back tomorrow with our Women in Wellness Wednesday. Thank you guys so much for joining me here on Unfiltered Vision News. And remember, stay well, stay focused, and stay unfiltered. We'll see you in the next one.